Hi, Les Mood with SignWatts. We are here in Bakersfield, California with the KERN Economic Development Corporation CEO, Richard Chapman. Thanks for having us, Richard.
Oh, thanks. Good to be with you today.
Absolutely. So, lots happening in Kern County. A lot of people outside of California may not know about Kern County, but we're very familiar, obviously. Could you share some interesting facts and, economic information
Sure.
about Kern County?
Yeah, and we often say Kern County, we feed the world, power the world, and defend the world. And speaking of power, we really are the energy capital of the U.S. And how do we prove that? Well, we can prove it with facts. We're in the top 10 for oil and gas production in the U.S. We are also the number one in terms of renewable energy capacity. And we have over 17,000 megawatts of renewable energy, primarily solar and wind, installed in our county. And we also have geothermal. And so you name it, across the spectrum of energy resources, very diverse portfolio.
And as far as location for those not in California, where is Kern County located, and what kind of amenities and activities can people who move here?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because you go to Wikipedia and it says Kern County's in Southern California. Mm-hmm. And we are about a 100-minute drive from LA. But we're also the center of the state in terms of population. Mm. So sometimes there's kind of how do you promote our central location in terms of we're the population center, or do you promote that we're in the bottom third of the state? So both of those are very powerful value propositions for companies of all industry sectors.
Speaking of industries and sectors, there's a lot of talent here that I've seen. As far as engineers go, what level of engineers are here? What percentage population? What are some interesting facts about engineering in Kern County?
Well, and Kern County is actually the number one in the country for engineering salaries, and this is not taking into account the cost of living. Mm-hmm. So the average salary for an engineer is about $106,000. So we have, you can imagine the energy industry, a significant number of engineers. Then you go out to East Kern. You have China Lake, Naval Weapons Research, Edwards Air Force Base. You have Mojave Air and Spaceport. So we are actually the third most diverse economy in the country. A lot of people don't know that. We have, obviously we're in the top for ag and oil, but we also have 3 or 4 other legs of the stool.
Speaking of oil and energy and ag, what are some of these companies doing, and what are some examples of giving back to the community, and what impact has that had on the community?
Right. Well, I mean, we've been in the top 10 in terms of charitable giving, and you really see public and private sector work together. You'll see this, frankly, as an economic developer working in Seattle, Phoenix area for 25 years, seeing this public-private support for good jobs. And I often say 5-0 votes, 7-0 votes. Mm-hmm. There is this appreciation. And we're really excited because, as I mentioned, our proximity to LA, we're next to a $1 trillion economy. And the opportunity here, the appreciation for business, we call it a pro-business attitude. That does not exist in a lot of parts of the West Coast. We got NIMBYs in many regions. As I often say, banana, build absolutely nothing anywhere near anybody. You don't see that type of that attitude there, because we would like jobs. We want these jobs. And by the way, we are in the top 5 for upward mobility. That means if you were born on the bottom 20% level, the odds of moving to the top tier are higher here than anywhere in the country. We have a lot of also middle skill level jobs that create mobility. Be it a 2-year or 4-year degree job, we're number 4 in the country for STEM jobs, according to Brookings Institution.
Speaking of education and the community, what role has the large companies in this community, the energy companies, the ag companies, what has what's been done to really drive the development at the university, Cal State Bakersfield and Bakersfield College? What are some examples of how the energy industry has helped develop the education in this county? Right.
I mean, they're pivotal. Frankly, we talk about talent attraction, retention. The energy industry has brought people from all over the world here. And so that is really important, right? How do we attract the talent? We're working with CSUB and the community colleges. CSUB has the planned Energy Research Center, because if we are the energy center of the world, how do we get companies created at the university with research and then spinning off into the community? And we've looked at best practices. There are great best practices there, but we know that collaboration is there. Now with the accreditation at the CSUB for their engineering programs, it is all lining up well, and we see the traction we're getting. In fact, we're seeing influx from the LA area. The talent is moving up here. 1 out of 3 people looking for a home in Bakersfield is from LA, and so this area will develop much like areas like Seattle. It's kind of a sleepy town, known for maritime, logging. Then it pivoted to Boeing, then Amazon, Microsoft. And so we're seeing kind of as our economy evolves within industries as well as creation of new industries. The other thing is we're in the top 5 in the country for startup activity as a percentage of overall companies. Young firms make up about 6 to 7%.
Speaking of, you mentioned LA, people moving here from LA. What are some of the other areas, and what do you notice about people who move to Kern County, and what are their thoughts when they move here?
Well, oftentimes they say they give the best testimonials, right? And you've seen both domestically and international folks moving in. And, when you're the 5th most affordable housing market next to the most expensive housing market, LA, that is an attraction in itself. But we need the amenities, so just having a house, especially for millennials, is not something, maybe not on their top priority. But we've seen in terms of the quality projects come here, because people here want quality projects, and you've seen the amenities, that kind of the Class A type retail do extremely well. We have some of the best performing retail stores in the country. Hard Rock Casino project, that's a $600 million project. That we're excited as bringing new money in, and we've seen this real shift, and even the national perceptions of Bakersfield, Kern County are becoming more and more positive.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned startups and the university's initiative to do research and development on the campus. Can you kind of share what your perspective is of what the leadership in Kern County really wishes to see, what kind of companies and people and activities and economic activity that you would wish to see?
Yeah, and you look at being in Seattle, where the University of Washington created hundreds of companies, but it's always about what are your strengths, in terms of location quotient, what industries are really the drivers. And here, of course, we have energy, we have value-added ag, healthcare. Now, frankly, in healthcare, we have the services rather than going to LA. A vast majority of the healthcare type of operations and services can be performed here. That's for the quality of life. And then we have aerospace and defense. Collaboration between East and West Kern. It's really important. The innovation in East Kern is married with the West Kern. That is critical to us. And CSUB, and we have an amazing 2 community colleges. You have Taft College, Bakersfield, and Saracosa. Bakersfield College has one of the, they have a 4-year degree in industrial automation, one of the few under a pilot program. And so there's these great institutions that are promoting upward mobility. We have a new career tech education center through the high school district, a $90 million amazing incubator with robotics, logistics, just focused on building the next generation of workforce. And then we have Bitwise coming downtown, which is something that we had really kind of had the eye on the prize of getting that co-work facility, but it's much more than co-work, right? It's about creating companies, right, but also training the workforce.
Mm-hmm. I understand you and your wife moved here. I moved here. I'm not from here. Would you say that there's plenty to do, plenty places to eat, good times, and nearby activities for living in Kern County for people who want?
Yeah, and I don't, a lot of people, it's a great place to raise a family, but I think it's a great place to be in your 20s. Mm-hmm. And I know folks in their late 20s that own homes that in LA that same person, that their friends are living with 5 people. And so the great thing is the cost of living here is about 5% above the US average, but the amenities are supporting what people want. And if you want to go, to LA, that's 2 hours away. We know a lot of people that travel around the world because they have disposable income. One thing you're not going to have left over if you're in Seattle, if you're making $100,000, you're actually losing money. So there are many cities where even $100,000 is not enough to support individual or family.
And then lastly, I'd like to ask, living in Kern County, what is it like? How are people in terms of friendliness? And would you say that it's a community that our associates and friends and people would want to live in?
Yeah, it's a big small town. I grew up in North Carolina, a small town. I wanted to go to the city. I went to school in DC. But it's a place where you run into people, at the grocery store. So, better do your hair and stuff like that before you go out to buy milk. But you even see folks from the outside that come here, and it's a town of conversation. So I half jokingly say we're the land of 2-hour lunches. But you have small talk, but also you talk about business, and it's not like 5% small talk, 95% business. There's a good mix, but the relationship building is really pivotal. That's why when we have companies come to us, they need to meet 3 or 4 parties. We will make that happen. The strength is the partnerships and the dot connecting, and it happens here much quicker than anywhere else. And by the way, many cities, you basically have to, someone coming in takes much longer to acclimate. Kind of take a number. We'll get back to you in a couple of years. Here, we'll get back to you, in a couple hours. So this is what we see: just this appreciation and authenticity. Our DNA. We did a regional branding initiative, and really it came out to be, we're very authentic people and trusting people, and also we welcome new people in.
I've noticed that a lot. I've seen a lot of growth since the time I've been here. It's really amazing to see. I appreciate your insights that you've shared with us. I appreciate your leadership and the community environment that we're building here in Kern County. But I'm really excited about the opportunity to see Kern County grow and the opportunity for people to move here and to participate in the future of energy, the future of agriculture, the future of opportunity in the great state of California.
Well, that's it, the future of opportunity. So we oftentimes say the new California. 78% of growth, population growth in the state is going to be in the San Joaquin Valley. And so this is the exciting part about it. We're on the cusp of some great things. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. And
before we let you go, where can people find out information about Kern Economic Development Corporation and maybe even the Energy Summit that you guys
Yeah, so we, couple of things. Our Energy Summit is in its 14th or 15th year. Remember, we have international investment in Kern County in all types of energy. And people in Paris and in Japan know about Kern County for renewable energy.
Absolutely. Well, I encourage everyone to definitely check out KDC.com, KERNEDC.com, and to learn more about the economy here, the agriculture and the energy. It's a huge opportunity. We encourage you to definitely consider moving here, working here, investing here. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to do business and a great place to invest in the future. So definitely check that out. Thank you for joining us. Make sure and follow SignWatts on our journey along the way as we work with the community and we work to move and drive energy forward. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.